So I'm going to save the lives of everybody who's watching this, in the sense that your risk from the coronavirus is going to go from a little bit too big to something closer to zero. I'm going to tell you how to get the meds from your doctor. I'm going to break the government, all right? At least for you. So you're going to be freed of these government restrictions in a while in a way that will work, absolutely. Okay? I'll get to that in a moment. So we've got a testing process in which we can't do these home testing. So you're not allowed to have a test kit at home, swab yourself and mail it in or drop it off someplace which would be completely safe. You actually have to go to a facility that's steaming in coronavirus and infect your doctor, or maybe, the worst, and then wait 5 days while you may or may not suddenly turn bad and die while you're waiting for your incompetent government to run the Afghanistan war strategy on a virus. It's the wrong strategy. I'm going to break it right now. Okay? So the strategy doesn't apply to you anymore. And I'll tell you why, but you're free of it. And here's why. Everybody who is in the know knows that the meds work. I'll call them the Trump pills because I think it's funny. It's easier to pronounce. You know, the hydroxychloroquine, the azithromycin, and the zinc. I'm here to tell you I have more information than you have about most things. In other words, I'm pretty tapped in to the collective brain of the world at this point, largely because of this process. And I can tell you that pretty much all the doctors are prescribing it to themselves. Pretty much all the doctors are making sure they have enough for their family. I bet you're not going to see one famous person die from this disease unless they have underlying conditions. Why? Because every famous person gets this drug as soon as they go in with symptoms. Do you? No. No, you don't. You go in with symptoms and they say, well, you have to take a test. Where's the test? We don't have it, but maybe I can get one, and then I'll test you. Sometimes the test works and sometimes they don't, but it's going to take 5 days and you might drown in your own lung juice while you're waiting. Does a celebrity do that? No. Does a billionaire wait for the test? Not one time. Every billionaire already has this drug. I was kind of playing it cool for a while because I thought, oh, there must be some kind of shortage of the drug. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, but Scott, it's not proven. Let me tell you the cost benefit here. These drugs are widely available. You could probably get them at Walmart. I don't recommend getting them if you don't have symptoms because that breaks the whole country, right? If you hoard them. It'll be hard to get them without symptoms, but probably if you tried really hard, you could do it. I just don't recommend it. But the moment you get symptoms, I'm going to tell you how to get it before you get the test, all right? It's not allowed, it's not recommended, but I'll tell you how to do it. So stay tuned. So here's the trade-off. We know that this is a well-tolerated drug. We know that if you're taking it short-term, probably the worst-case scenario is you get a little diarrhea and maybe a little nausea. No big deal compared to drowning in your own lung juice, right, which is the other potential possibility. We know that everywhere around the world it's being used, they're pretty happy about it. For $20 and the risk of a little bit of diarrhea, are you going to take 5 days of risk of dying from the coronavirus plus giving it to everybody you touch? No, you're not. So let me tell you how to convince your doctor to skip the test and give you the meds. All right, I'm getting lit up by some messages from somebody who knows I'm on Periscope. Okay. Somebody says, where's your proof? None. If you're asking for proof, you're a fucking idiot. Let me give you the trade-off. The trade-off is it costs about $20 for a widely available drug. Its worst case scenario, because we've been using it for years, is that if you took it for a long time, there might be some issues. For a short time, a couple of weeks or whatever the regimen is, basically no side effects. And If all your doctors are using it and all the tests are showing that it works, oh wait, you say, did you see that? Did you see the study that followed some people and said it didn't work? You probably saw that in the news, right? Bloomberg reported it. Bloomberg. Do you know where the study came from? China. There was a Chinese university, the only one who says it doesn't work. In the middle of in China using a massive disinformation campaign to lie about every part of this virus situation. They lied about how big a problem was and that they had it. They are lying now about their statistics. They're lying about the United States being maybe responsible for it. And I guarantee you that that study that came out of a Chinese university was disinformation. Can I prove it? No. But are you going to believe anything China tells you about the virus today? No. Look at every other source, and they all point in the same direction. Every one. Only one points in the other direction. China. A very small Chinese university, which of course is owned by the government. So, don't hoard this drug, but here's how you get it. Let me tell you the persuasion technique. You go into your doctor and you've clearly got the symptoms. You know what the symptoms are. You've clearly got them. Your doctor says, yes, I agree. It might not be coronavirus, but you do have the symptoms. Here's how you convince your doctor to give you the drugs. The first thing you need to know is that you need to go in there well informed. If your doctor even sniffs that you know less about this situation than the doctor, you might not get them. So job one is to know more than the doctor, or at least as much, just about this very narrow, drug application. And that's not hard. So I'll tell you what to know to prove to your doctor that you understand enough to get it off-label, because I can give it to you legally off-label without a test. So they don't go to jail if they give you the drug. It's legal. But the guidelines say you wait for the test. Don't wait for the test. That is your doctor. Waiting for the test is the Afghanistan Obama strategy, to let some centralized thing slow down the process that you know needs to be fast. All right? Here are the things you want to tell your doctor. Number one, every doctor either is taking it, planning to take it, or has already stockpiled it. Look at your doctor in the eyes and say, tell me you won't take this for yourself if you get the symptoms. Look me in the eye and tell me that you're going to wait 5 days for a test if your spouse starts a dry cough. You liar. Because if you tell me that you wouldn't give your spouse that on day one, you're just lying. All right, now don't call your doctor a liar yet. But they are a liar if they say no. No, I'd wait for the test. Because that's what the FDA said. No. No doctor anywhere in the world will wait for the test if their own spouse has a dry cough in the middle of the coronavirus crisis. And don't believe anybody who says otherwise. Secondly, other countries are massively taking it. We know this to be true. It's not a coincidence. The other thing is that you should know the costs. The cost of the regimen for getting the drugs, it's about a $20 cost for the entire cycle that you would be on it. $20. I mean, give or take. The prices are all over the place. What does the cost of a test? $1,000. Right? Do you think you should take a $20 test that you can take immediately and take the odds of you worsening down to pretty low, according to anecdotally everything that's happening? Or do you want to take a $1,000 test and wait 5 days and you might be dead before the test comes in? There's no question, which is smart. So make sure your doctor knows that the pills cost $20 and that the test costs $1,000. And then here's the kill shot. Here's the kill shot. Don't leave this one out. Because, so the high ground maneuver is to show that you understand, the costs and the risks as much as the doctor does. And here's the next part. the disease progresses quickly. That's the end of your persuasion. The disease progresses quickly. There are plenty of anecdotes, and your doctor will be familiar with them, of somebody who wasn't that bad and suddenly, it's time for the ventilator. So your doctor knows that. If you show that you know it too, then you have said, I have potentially a deadly disease. It could kill me before the test comes in. It is legal for you to give it off label. I will go literally insane if I'm worrying about this for 5 days. Because remember, doctor, you're not just treating my body, you're treating my mind. And if I don't get this drug and I have to wait 5 days, I'm going to flip out. And here's the next part. Doctor, and by the way, this next thing I have used, and I know this works. Doctor, here's the deal. I am going to get that drug. If you prescribe it to me, that's the preferred situation because you're my doctor. And you can monitor my whole situation. But if you don't give it to me, I'm going to walk out of here and I'm going to get it. I'll get it on the black market, which can be done. I'm going to shop for a doctor to give it to me who won't know as much about me. But here's the thing, doctor, that I need you to understand. By the end of today, I'm going to be on that drug. I would prefer it be you. Because I know you can, I know it's legal, and I know you're allowed to use your judgment when to use it and when to not. You know that I understand the field. You know that I've looked at the costs and the benefits, and you know that although we don't have the long-term tests, that it's such a low risk, it would be absolutely insane not to give it to me. How many of your doctors are going to give it to you? Well, either everyone or find another doctor. So your ability to find a doctor that will give you this with that preamble, you have to use the persuasion. So you might want to, bookmark this and play it back and write it down because you want to hit all the points. You need to know all the costs. You need to know the risks. You need to know that it's a fast-moving disease. You need to know that the labs are going to take 5 days and that the risk-reward is simple. And very importantly, you have to know that the doctors themselves are prescribing it to themselves. Because that's sort of the end of the conversation. If you can get your doctor to say, yeah, I'd give it to my spouse under this situation, because they would.